Hey, welcome
Hello?
everyone. Thanks for joining. How you
Hi.
doing? Yeah. Thank you for joining. We are the Voice of College Football. I am Chad,
I'm Tierani.
and we stream. If you're just now watching, every Monday at 7, and during the regular season, we have reactions to games. There, a lot of them weren't very fun this year, so hopefully next year they go a little better. But yeah, we try to do this every day or every Monday, weekly. If you want to guarantee that we read your comment, you can send a super chat, which is nice. But other than that, we'll try to get to a few throughout the show.
And if you're not new here, welcome back.
Welcome, yeah, there you go. Welcome back. Thank you all for returning. We appreciate it. How have you been?
Pretty good. It's my first day back at work in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's nice.
So,
Not like me. I'm working every day, bringing home the bacon. You know, the bacon.
yeah. Is that it? But no. Kids were cool. Felt like lots of energy at work, except for the cold. There were several times I had to walk kids back to their car, like for their parents to their car. And I was like, I don't need my coat. I was wrong.
Yeah. T has a problem, and I'm sure it's all husbands can attest. Wives have problems with not realizing it's going to be cold, and then I have a heart, so I feel bad that she's freezing, and so I give her my coat, and
No.
I do what I can. It's not easy.
Because it happened once in New York where he convinced me to take my actual coat instead of like a cute coat.
Big win.
That he now thinks that is the precedent, and that is not true.
That's very true.
No.
How was y'all's New Year's? Let us know in the comments. T and I had it was pretty chill. We just stayed at the house, played some Wahoo. I won a game. T didn't. That doesn't matter for those who asked in the comments.
You didn't win any games.
I won the second
Our
one.
neighbor won both of them.
No, I won the second one. I
No,
rolled a
you
2.
didn't.
I rolled a 2
No, you
on the
didn't.
second one.
She
Yes,
won
I did.
both.
And I know you're remembering because you just gave me that look of, yeah, I think you're right about that.
No, I don't. I think you're gaslighting me. I think our neighbor won both.
This is unbelievable. I will call them live on this show and get them to tell it. Yeah, I did, T. I won the second one. The second game, I rolled a 2. I said, all right, just a 2 here. And then everyone's like, oh.
Don't do that motion online.
Those rolling dice. I just, I won a game, and,
Maybe.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Also, we'll get to this later in the game. I tried to give I told T Arizona State was going to win. I tried to tell her, and she didn't want to take it. You remember when we did picks?
Ooh.
She said, I was like, T, you picked Arizona State, and she fought against it. And so trying to help.
Arizona State lost.
I know, but it would have been a fantastic pick because
Could have
everyone would have
been.
thought, I mean, you could have said something crazy like they're going to lose by 20. I mean, who would have thought that? That's ridiculous
Who
to
would say
think.
that live?
Yeah, someone that doesn't understand that things, get clipped and, brought
By the
up
way,
later
who
again.
won between us last week?
What I think is winning, T, is just us enjoying games together. We had my brother-in-law, one of my best friends in the world, was over watching games with us, and we just had a fun time. So she's going to bring up things like record or things that are really just kind of surface level. I look at the deeper meanings and things, and really I think that just us being together, the love we share, the laughs, great laughs.
Yeah, me laughing at you because I won yet again.
That was a good line by you. I'll give you that.
Because
There you
I
go.
picked Notre Dame and somebody picked Georgia. Other than that, we picked. But the real winner of the household was our dog.
Phenom.
He picked all the playoff games right, but then only one who let him down was Alabama.
So how many weeks is that they let him down?
Man.
They let him down the first week, right?
Yes, because he
We
picked
beat
Alabama over
Oklahoma.
us.
Yep. Picked him in the bowl game.
Picked him in the bowl. Maybe just 2. I don't know if I've had any other Alabama picks.
Oh. Gotcha. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just.
But
thinking about that.
regardless, they're 0 for 2. However, yeah, Zeno now has a winning record.
Winning record, which I probably has to be better than me.
Yeah, but he went 4 for 4 last week with playoff games, and Chad went 2 for 4.
We don't know. I wish I could. It's not. I don't know.
I
There's
went
no way to
3
find
for
out what we
4.
picked. We don't know. We're not sure.
Too bad we don't have it recorded.
I know.
Anything.
T brings it up. I'm not sure. It was I don't know. It doesn't matter though. What matters is we all got to watch good games, and it was just a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Made queso, right?
I
You
made
queso.
queso.
I ate queso.
No, funny enough, I asked him to grill the hamburger meat, or not grill it, but
Oh.
to cook it. He was like, "Babe, just go take a shower, just get ready, and I'll handle cooking the hamburger meat."
I'm a nice guy. Yeah.
So he starts getting ready, I start getting ready to go take a shower. I'm not hearing the stove go off. I yell, "I'm not hearing any sizzling." And then I get out of the shower, start getting ready a little bit more. I still don't hear it. I yell again. I really am not hearing any cooking going on. By the time I got done and walked out, my brother and he were still sitting on the couch, just talking. And I was like,
Listen,
are you kidding me?
Well, I was about to go.
He made up for it, and he did go and do it.
Yeah, well, I was about to go do it right then, and I think that's when Arizona State ran that. They ran like a fake punt or something. Something happened. And I mean, you can't turn away from that game. And then they were driving,
kicked it.
And then I'm just sitting there like, I can't not see this. I got to let T know what happened. And by the way, our house is, I mean, it's not the easiest to hear people from the back room when you have walls and all this between you.
Because we have such a big home.
And I know, it's at least 500 square feet. No, I'm just kidding. And so I didn't hear. Lord forgive me, I didn't hear my wife yell from across the house.
His ears are for decoration.
They're not for decoration. They
They're
are.
for decoration.
No. I have solid ears.
But we
not
did
the
make
best,
queso. Did we make anything else that day?
You made those little cheese cups you like.
Oh, I did. I ate all of them, and I think my brother
You
had
made
like
cookies
2.
too, right?
No, I made that another day. Made cookies and empanadas another day, which were also delicious.
Empanadas,
But anyways,
all right. Well, anyways, let's get to some OU news. We had some breaking news before we came on. I didn't reach out to him personally, but I can only assume that he's an avid viewer and watcher of the show because he tweets out this right before we go live, and I can only thank him enough. Armeson Thomas, big returner, is coming back. What do you think?
yeah, I'm excited for it. I know I said in a previous pod that, like, obviously we wanted him to come back. That'd be great, but if he wanted to move on, that's fine too, because I'm over begging anybody to stay, but I'm still happy that he did, if that makes sense. Like, it's just, let the cards fall where they may. I don't think that's the right saying, but it is for me today. So I'm very excited to have him back. He definitely had a very good season this year, and someone who was very impactful, especially it seemed like on 4th down, that he was the guy getting the stops. So that was pretty awesome. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, same. Anytime you can get a guy, especially a defensive end, that is someone who's already has gained a lot of confidence in the previous season, but then also he reminds me of James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, but I think he's almost a little bigger to me. And I don't know if he moves as well laterally as James Pierce does, but he is someone who is going to be a threat that the offense will have to focus on. They have to shift protection to. And then you get, and we're going to get to the other portal additions too that we got, but you get a guy like the Marvin Jones Jr. guy who has, if he hasn't been able to show it yet, he has a lot of the physical tools that you can't coach. So you take a guy like that who, and we'll get more in depth on that, but then you get to pair him with an Armeson Thomas or a Danny Okoye, a Nigel Smith, hopefully a PJ Adebawore who is healthy next year dealing with the ankle thing.
How easily you just said that name.
Yeah, so T and I, when we got married, actually I've known her forever. So when I used to say her name as Tierani, which she can't stand. It's Tierani. And we've worked on that, and I'm a better man, and I've got it fixed now. So she's impressed whenever I can say like Giannis Antetokounmpo, PJ Adebawore.
Yeah, but can't say his wife's name consistently, but it's fine. And, okay, it's where the chips fall where they may. My bad, thank you.
Yep.
I always mess those up. I'm pretty sure I said expedition
hey, thanks,
in the last
Sean.
podcast that we were in instead of exhibition.
That's all good.
And it's fine. It's just haunted me for the last 4 days. But can we just talk about what the heck is with the grease stuff?
I have no idea. Oh, we go together? Is this it?
Okay, like I get some of the references, but like who the heck has ever watched Grease 2?
No, nobody. Just
Back
people
to school?
Right.
Like, I mean, I get the reference now, essentially, but like...
You know what it is? I guarantee you.
Has he watched
I don't
Grease
know.
2?
I mean, if he has, it's a good move. If he has, it's a good move. I don't know. It seems like...
There's Grease and Grease. You can't outdo the just original Grease.
No.
Which, by the way, I didn't realize how many adult innuendos it had because I loved that movie as a child. But regardless.
Just real quick, I want to thank Dr. Sean Strong for this. OU is fixing to make a big run. I think they are. What do you think?
I hope so. Especially, defensively. I still, for all of us, our offense is the biggest question mark. But I see it as, and again, call me a sunshine pumper. What is? Our offense just had to be a little bit better this year for us to win most of the games we played in.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
You're 100% right.
So I think with the good old line, or at least an O-line returning that's played together, we can maybe just have the same iterations of it more than 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
and a more experienced quarterback, and that's not a shade at Jackson Arnold, just in general, or Michael Hawkins, just in general. I think those two things alone could fix enough for us to be a little bit better. It's just still those wide receivers and tight ends where I know we all have question marks.
I agree 100%, yeah.
But no, I'm hoping I'm already drinking it.
The Kool-Aid.
Drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm drinking the hopium.
Yeah, the hopium. No, I agree. I don't know. There's really there is a lot of reasons you can be optimistic. It really, it's all framing, however you want to look at it. But for me, I just look at, I really do think people are going to be shocked. And I don't know, fair or unfair, why this would be shocking. But when we have all of our players, best players every week that can play and then get experience together and make them even better as they go through a season, you're going to look astronomically better on offense.
Right. I still think that you say, like, we have our best players playing. The problem is, like, now I don't think we really know who will be our best players because we have such a rebuilding. Obviously, Deion's going to be the target.
No, yeah.
And, you want him to stay on the field. And, of course, you would assume John Mateer would come in and be the starter. That's, again, not shade of Michael Hawkins. But should Michael Hawkins have a good spring ball? Do they call it spring ball?
Yeah.
Or is that just baseball?
Yeah.
Panicked. Spring ball and have a good summer and earns a spot, then hey, it is what it is. I don't think that's impossible, but those, you have those two guys, and then as far as running backs go, and I really like Salchuk, I really like Barnes, but man, X was just reliable and strong, and being so young, I'm excited to see how he develops over the off season as well,
right,
and have him coming back. So I think those are some people that to look at already and be hopeful for the next year.
Right.
But again, after all the injuries we had even before the season, it's kind of hard to get excited.
Yeah.
Just watch anybody play because we might not. Also, would love to have Jaden Gibson back.
Yeah,
not
that'll
to
be
skip
huge.
him and overlook him, but that would be huge, like mentally, emotionally, physically, to have back because dude, 6'6".
Yep.
So he's kind of tall.
Yeah, a little taller than me, also a little more athletic. No?
A little taller than you is correct.
Yeah. You don't think a little more athletic?
Much more athletic.
Well.
We're going to change the concept.
Certainly more athletic. We'll go there. Armeson Thomas, by the way, 12 tackles for loss, 9 sacks in 2024. That'll do. Fourth best in the SEC.
That'll do, donkey.
That'll do. And so, yeah, and I agree too. And just to buttress your point, I don't really need to add anything, but just getting all the guys back that you are, and you're right about the receivers. It's I'm assuming they're going to be good. At least just having a guy like Deion Burks every week, like you've talked about before, is just going to be such a boost. And I think you played on a lot of teams. Having your best players out there just boosts the morale of everybody around. Like when you know your guys are there, it makes you more confident. Like you really feel like you have a chance to win every game. Like last year, think about every game they went into. It's everyone knows, man, we have our 6th, 7th best guy out here at certain positions. And it just kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say it doesn't eliminate motivation at all. I'm obviously not. But I just, you don't get that extra pep in your step.
I think it's just more the confidence.
Right.
And if you're not confident, it's just not going to be very successful.
Yeah,
especially
100%.
in sports. It's like 70% confidence, 30% skill. To an extent. And again, to an extent, you can't just be like totally trash and be 70% confident you're not. But in general, like you have to be confident. You could have all the talent in the world, and if you're not confident in yourself and your abilities, you're going to second guess everything. So as a wide receiver, you're going to be taking your eye off the ball a split second, or just thinking about it too much, and then that's when you're going to drop it. Or you're already thinking about getting hit and you don't want to fumble, well then you just don't even catch it. Or you want to try to run before you catch. Things like that just happen when you're not confident in your abilities, and you're just second guessing yourself. So hopefully having some just experience back from these guys who otherwise would not have got experience this year, hopefully that just helps them with their confidence as well, and maybe even nerves.
Yeah.
Let's not act like they probably weren't nervous out there.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And so all that back. Also, along with Armeson Thomas, Kendall Dolby announces his return. I think that that's a big addition. I think he's a better. I think getting him back is you're not going to find a guy that good in the portal, I don't think. And he comes back. He knows the defense. Obviously, you're assuming he's going to be healthy to play or not have the lingering effects of that injury.
Like a leader too.
Exactly. And the guy like we talked about with confidence, he knows what he's doing. He's physical. He's not afraid to play and to hit. And that kind of guy is big just for the overall morale of the defense and just them knowing, that they have a dude out there that they can rely on every week. And Robert Spears-Jennings also returning.
Right.
Big safety addition. He's also a guy that has the body type you need at SEC play, and then he's not afraid also to get his hat in the mix and, makes plays as well. And I think that there is a lot of hope and a lot of, just with the guys that are returning, I really think this defense can be one of the best. It already was, I think, 16th in efficiency this year in the nation. And then it was
that's with being put in impossible positions.
Yeah, and people just don't understand. We need to get my dad on here one show just to have him talk about how beneficial it is for defenses to have a good offense that can give them breaks and also require the opposing team to drive the whole field instead of fumbling it on your side of the field all the time.
Right.
It's going to be big next year if you have a competent offense, and I think they will. At least you assume they will.
Or heck, defense maybe be so good, just hold people to 10 points, and if we can score 14, yippee. I'll take a 14-10 win.
Any day of the week.
Any day.
Over, yeah. All right, portal additions. We had Marvin Jones Jr. And
it's fun to say.
That is. Any name with alliteration like that, I hope he goes Jones Jr. on the back. Close to my favorite fighter's name, John Jones. Also a guy that more athletic than me.
Yes.
But he's about my height.
But his wingspan is
84.5 inches. Mine's 76. That dude could almost fly. Got KJ Daniels from Oklahoma State. I know a big addition for Oklahoma. Probably going to be a linebacker, the cheetah position. He's fit perfectly for it. Wanted to come to Oklahoma out of high school. I don't think that whenever they did there was some stuff that went on in his recruitment whenever he did whenever there was a switch over, I think, to the Lincoln, or from Lincoln to BV. And I don't know if he really liked the position he would be put in, but he was a 2022 freshman, Big 12, I believe, Big 12 newcomer or freshman record
so he would
reward.
Have another year.
And so he'll have time when he gets to Oklahoma, and it's exciting because he's a guy that has the body type for SEC play too. He's fast, he's athletic, he's big. I know that you had heard some motivation issues, didn't play hard. You want to talk about that kind of your thoughts on it?
I love reading the comments because on social media, I'm convinced the comments most of the time are like the best part. But I wanted to see OSU fans' reactions for a number of reasons. But one that I kept seeing consistently was essentially he didn't seem like he wanted to play. He wasn't motivated. He seemed lazy, which are some strong accusations. I admittedly did not watch a lot of Oklahoma State games this year, so I didn't even care to watch highlights to even confirm or unconfirm their points. Because in my mind, it didn't matter if the defensive staff. I didn't want to say defensive because that just sounds defensive staff likes him and sees potential. I trust the defensive staff. Additionally, if he has a motivation, not playing hard, giving up on plays issue, he's not getting on the field for BB anyway.
Right.
So it's just going to work itself out in the end. And that I will say that's one area I'm not concerned with, because how many times could our defense have given up this season? And they didn't. Now, maybe they give up a big play here and there, but that's not because they just weren't trying or just kind of gave up on it, essentially. There's videos of Danny Stutzman yelling at guys on the sideline when we're down by 21 points, saying, we're not playing good enough. We need to play harder. Right. Which was not their fault we were down those points. But regardless. Exactly. So I'm not really worried about that because, like I said, if he's not playing hard, if he's not willing to put it all out there, he's not willing to have a perfect effort, then he's not going to see the field.
Right.
Or he's going to see it briefly and be taken off. And we have, in my opinion, we have the players to replace him if he has that attitude. But I'm going to assume that he won't.
I'm excited about him. I'm not worried about the whole, everyone wanting to talk about how they aren't motivated, or if there's questions about how hard they're really going, or, their talent level, this or that. We've all been on teams where it sounds good to say no matter what's going on, you always give your best, you always do all you can. But there's a reality too. When your team is just not it can demotivate you a little bit. If you're just not
going to win a conference game at all.
Yeah, and it's shocking. I really do think that there was a point where they all were just and maybe this is cope and what, fine, fair enough. I just don't think that there was, I just think it affected them all to a point where you saw people like Ollie Gordon not even being a factor this year. No one would have predicted that.
I don't even think he's in the top for like the NFL draft for wide receivers.
Yeah, there was a projection I saw. Yeah,
there's a projection. He's not even on there. Like, how do you go from like
the Doak
essentially
Walker,
like number one? You're the second coming of Barry Sanders.
Well, yeah. I know what you mean. At Oklahoma State, for sure.
I didn't say that. Yeah. It was, Anyways.
I know what you mean.
To now you're not even like put in the top 10 of running backs coming out for the draft or who would potentially be. It's just mind blowing. And that's not to say the kid's not talented. It's just kind of wild.
And there are, I think, people that are just going to look at where these guys came from, and funny, it's weird because they both come from teams that struggled last year. Like Florida State goes 2-10. They don't have much to play for either. I just think when you get on a campus and you play with a team like Oklahoma and you get with BV, especially what he's known for on the defensive side of the ball, there's just a psychological switch that gets flipped. And you hear about guys that come in, especially like a Trace Ford, or I remember the first year when we had the Wake Forest guy. He was number. Someone will mention it in the comments. He was 80. What number was he? That's going to bother me the rest of the show. He transferred in. He was he was their defensive captain from Wake Forest the first year or our second year.
I wish I could help you on this, but I'm so bad with names
this is going to bother me so much. But he comes in and he talked about, when he got here.
See the comments.
When he got here, there was just, playing for BV and for, Oklahoma was just different, and it elevated his play. And I think you're going to see that with a couple of these portal guys that come in. Whether or not they even give you a lot of starter minutes, they are legitimate depth pieces, and that's as valuable as, that's also very valuable and, very needed, especially in the SEC where you have so many, physical games, especially with our schedule, which is probably going to be the hardest in the country. So I think the additions are solid. We have 14 now in the portal, only 2 on defense. We know where our needs are, and they're looking at them on offense. That is sort of something that I was talking about. We had texted over this too, and with the portal strategies that teams are using, I'm starting to think that one thing they might be thinking about doing. There's a lot of times to say thanks, but that's a lot of.
He's doing a lot of thinking.
I just think there is a belief or a strategy maybe that you spend. The new way to do this might be recruit and then spend to retain, instead of just spending to get players out of the portal that have to learn a whole new system, that are going to be the guys that are first off the guys that got in the portal to begin with because they wanted to will and deal. And don't have the loyalty through the recruiting process of high school that you develop with the players you have on campus currently. And I think that it's just going to be a change sort of, or maybe more of a focus to just spend money that you have on the retention of players. And Oklahoma's done that. We know about that personally. Or not personally, but we know stories of players getting huge increases because of production they had this year and because they wanted to retain them. And other players, not getting the increases and seeking opportunities elsewhere, which is fair enough. But I believe that you have to start focusing on the retention of the talent you have instead of just, instead of worrying about, so obviously you need to find supplemental pieces in the portal, but really making sure the focus is the best players that you have to keep those guys on campus.
Right. And I don't think you can really truly build, and again, I could be totally wrong. I don't think you can truly build a great team through the portal. And I'm not saying you can't get pieces that, obviously getting like Deion Burks, and when we had Andrew Anthony for the beginning of 2023, like those were great additions, but I think like for your whole team, as like if you're constantly replacing half your team, I don't think that's necessarily a recipe for success for the reasons that you mean, because they're coming in and learning whole new systems. They're having to just build trust and camaraderie with your teammates, because chemistry with your teammates is something that is actually so important with sports. Knowing where a guy is going to be, trusting him to do his job, or just, from an offensive standpoint too, like if you're trying to make a play to this person or trusting them to protect you, like that is so important. If you don't trust them, again, you're not confident. You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to mess up. And so, so I don't think you can build whole teams consistently. I don't think that's sustainable. Now, you do obviously need to go to the portal, because you are going to lose guys to the portal every single year. So you're going to need to, in ways, replace them. But, and you can definitely add key pieces, but that's what it is. It's not replacing the whole game board, just replacing like a piece or two. But
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think they're going to, they're going to be able to do that. And with the new management, how they have that coming in, with the, golly, what is his name? The former AT&T CEO that's coming in to kind of really make this look more of a professional situation.
do not ask me about names. I'm not. I'm
And
just
I think it's
not
Randall
good.
Stevens, I believe, but I should have reviewed it before we got on. But they have him coming in. They have a guy that was with the New York Giants, I believe, for a long time.
It's only a million
That was
teams
like
in New York.
11 years or so. That kind of ran their processes as well. They're trying to make it a more professional organization because eventually I think that's where you're going to end up being is just paying players to play, and you got to figure out how you want to allocate dollars and the best way to do that. And so Oklahoma's making those changes. I think they are definitely going for a strategy that believe that is. I think it's sort of leading where other teams will end up going. Where spend the money you can as within reason to retain
Right.
your best players.
Also,
and then
as
find
coaches,
pieces
you
and
want to know
pour.
who's going to be on your team.
Exactly it. Yeah. That's the biggest
So,
part. Is,
I mean, even from that standpoint, like who is going to be on my team?
right.
Who do I have coming back? What positions do I need? Like it's just a lot. By the way, is Kendall Daniels from Oklahoma originally?
I believe so. Some questions that I just need to double check.
I thought I saw that he was an Oklahoma kid. Could have been someone else, but I do know that OU, especially when Brent Venables came in, said he wanted to prioritize Oklahoma talent
Mm-hmm.
because that one kid from Owasso Union,
Mm-hmm.
that slipped out, not under him, but previously kind of slipped out. And then when he took over, they tried coming late, but it was kind of too late by that point. So I think prioritizing Oklahoma kids and Oklahoma talent is a good way to go as well, because there is a little bit, there's that loyalty, there's that like childhood dream for many of these kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, to me, oh no, he's from what?
No,
He's
it's a
from-
different guy.
Oh. It says KJ. No,
That's
okay,
not KJ.
sorry. Wow, it's a very common name. But he wants to prioritize Oklahoma talent because there is another level of loyalty there. So maybe, as we've talked about in other shows, they'll take the quote-unquote pay cut to
Mhm.
be where they want to be.
Right.
Not to say they're going to do it for free, despite, scholarships, tutors, food, all that kind of good stuff. But I think that would be good too. Let's see. We're trying
That
to figure out
shouldn't
where
bother me.
he's from. I was trying to
Beggs, Oklahoma.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, so
Someone
he's an
said that.
Oklahoma
I think.
kid.
Someone said that. Yeah. Josh Jacob, another
thinking-
one. Yep.
I was thinking he was.
He's a freshman All-American, by the way. That's what I was referring to. There it is. Freshman All-American. Yep.
6'4". There you go.
Big guy. Yeah.
Your
Definitely
Your height
bigger
bigger.
than I am. Yeah. There is, there are. I couldn't remember. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's funny. He says he cooked more than Miguel Chavis today. He
Made a
cooked
good dinner.
ribeyes and a baked potato.
Mhm.
Ooh, look at me with the memory. That actually sounds delicious. I just ate dinner, but that sounds so good.
There are, I think some go to a couple questions here. I think someone asked, what else do I think we need? I think you want to get another corner. You would still like to have a little more depth there. I know someone had mentioned here that, they thought that the addition of Daniels would allow Dolby to go back to corner. Dolby doesn't want to be a corner. He likes the cheetah position. It's what there was an interview a couple years ago post game of what game did they play two
Sorry,
years
my
ago?
foot's going to sleep.
It was post game of, I think maybe the Tulsa game even. Whenever because Nick Anderson had the 3 touchdowns that game. And Venables talked about how Dolby had been primed to play that cheetah position, that he loves it, he understands it well. Because I don't know how quick Dolby is to play. He obviously was corner at NEO, All-American player, really good. But on the Division I level, especially the SEC, I don't know if he has the speed or the quickness that you really need at the corner position. But he's
Right.
very quick, or more than quick to play linebacker, and he also has size. And the biggest thing is he's not afraid to get in the mix. He's not a guy that's
Right.
going to make, quote, business decisions when he gets on defense.
I was actually really happy. I think he may have been who I was more excited to have back, and that's no shade at anybody else, because I use the saying a lot. Some people love playing football. Some people love being a football player. And you can tell that Kendall Dolby loves playing football.
Mhm.
And he seems to love the University of Oklahoma. Like, honestly, it just popped in my head, but seeing him being carted off at Tennessee and him just devastated.
Mhm.
like I'm like getting teary-eyed now because like I can only imagine how that felt. I mean, not even just obviously the physical pain, but just knowing that your season was done so early and when you were doing so well. So I'm really excited to have him back. I want dudes on my team. Oh, that was such a bro sounding thing to say. I say dudes way too much for female probably, but I want guys on my team who love playing football.
Yeah.
Who see it as a blessing to get to go out on the field and play football. I don't want guys who just love being a football player.
Yeah.
Like, that's just where I'm at. And, which is why I got to the point where people want to portal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't necessarily, I want to say I didn't care anymore to it. I just didn't, though. And maybe I've kind of just became more numb to it since the whole portal trend, because it seems like every year you're losing somebody, but I don't know. And maybe it's my own fault too that I feel like I'm not even like following some of the players as much as I used to, and like really getting to become a fan of them.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll wait till you're in your third and fourth year before I'm like, woo, like.
Well, it's just that there's the thought of why waste the time, really, to learn or invest, and if they're going to leave. Which, I totally get. I agree. It gets it. I'm hoping that they can figure out a way that they can keep these guys that they get on campus, especially before this house settlement comes through. That they're going to be able to add. And I don't think they're done in the portal either. They're going to add in the spring. That's where they added Woolard last year. It's where they added Dominic Williams. Dominic Williams obviously coming back as well. I maybe mentioned that last podcast. I can't remember if we had.
We pretty much retained anybody that can be retained.
Desan McCullough was a guy that left.
Read my mind. I was like, with the exception of, to me, Desan. But like, as far as I meant more like, obviously you're losing guys to the draft, but I feel like who could be retained with the exception. I guess we lost Lewis Carter. Yeah,
Lewis Carter would be one. And that stings a little bit. He was a good. Yeah. I mean, if anything, he had depth.
Ironically enough, you were mentioning him during the bowl game. You're like, I really like this kid.
Yeah.
Well, liked him for a day.
Tough. I mean, but also went to UCF. What an interesting move.
Maybe he likes Florida.
Someone quote me on, is that the second player we've got or that we had that went to UCF? I feel like I'm thinking of someone else, but maybe I'm just imagining that. I don't know. I can't tell you.
It's been a lot of movement.
There has been a ton. It's been an interesting time for sure, especially for the portal. Let's see, Paul. Hey, it's my dad. He was a player I always talked about how good his technique was. Very good. My dad would mention when he would watch Oklahoma State how good he was as a player. No. When he would watch Oklahoma, he's talking about Bothroyd. I don't know why I was thinking of Daniels there. He's talking to Bothroyd, Rondell Bothroyd from Wake Forest. He was one of my dad's favorite players. He's a good technique guy. I don't know if he's out on the league or if he's on a practice squad or if he made it, but it was a big ad for Oklahoma and a really solid piece for sure. He was from Beggs, Josh Jacobs for sure. Let's see if there's anything else. The Arkansas transfer. Yeah, there was also something we wanted to mention. I'd sent out a tweet.
Wait. Unless there's any more questions.
It's from Florida. There, okay.
He's from Florida, so maybe he likes Florida.
Okay, well,
good call by me.
I'm thinking of. There was the defensive lineman that we had that was here. I don't know why I say this stuff and not just think of the name before I bring it up. Oh God,
you're hoping
I'll think of
phone a friend in the comments.
Yeah, he transferred to, I believe, UCF too, and now he's transferring out again. But I
personally, from the portal, would still like another wide receiver.
Yeah.
The problem is, I feel like any wide receiver that I might get quote unquote excited about. Not that I'm not excited about the guys coming in. Like, I'm always going to be happy for everyone's come for OU, but you get what I'm saying. Like another Deion Burke, like Angelo Anthony, maybe like excitement.
Yeah.
And I just don't think we're going to drop the dollars on it.
Well, I'll be honest.
To me, if a high caliber player is in the portal like that, it's for a big chunk of change.
Yeah, it's a premium, and also I don't think there's been a guy that's on Burks' level. The one guy I can think of is Zachariah Branch. I don't think Concepcion was on a Deion Burks level, but even a Deion Branch, it's not just him. You're getting his Zachariah Branch. You're getting his brother too. So
and it was like
when you have a good safety group already, you don't bring someone in who's for no reason. It's a scholarship wasted because they're not going to make him one of the 20 walk-ons for next year. So it just is never going to be an Oklahoma thing. And I know a lot of people had a negative thing about him going somewhere else. I don't even think that it was when that report came out that these are the teams to look out for. It was just based on his Final Four from high school. That's all it was. I mean, he was committed to Oklahoma when Lincoln was here, and then when Lincoln left, he left.
Right. And
so it's not like he had some loyalty to OU.
My thing, and it's not to say that like OU obviously like maybe didn't. Not to say they just straight out didn't want him. It's just.
I'm sure they looked into it a little, just reached out, but
the stipulations, the bullet points that you're having to check for a kid is he worth it? And I can blah, 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 I can stutter apparently. I can't get my words out, but just don't think it would have been worth it. I have no idea. I don't care enough about kids who don't want to come to OU. That's what I'm saying with that. I don't care enough about kids who don't want to come to OU to look into it further.
Derek LeBlanc, yes, that is who I'm thinking of. Straight out of Oklahoma, or straight
LeBlanc
out of Loa. Out of Iowa, maybe, I don't know, but yes, that's who I'm thinking of. Derek LeBlanc. I liked him too, man. He was a 4-star defensive lineman.
Yeah, Anthony Evans is in the portal. Georgia wide receiver, once committed to OU for a day or two.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he did. I get it. If I'm sure they're going to reach out, but again, I don't know if any of these guys. I mean, he's sure he's from Georgia, but unless you can guarantee me a guy that is. I think Zachariah Branch, if you only could go for him and not his brother coming as well, that would be a guy that I would say that's probably a game changer if you could get him on your team.
Right. Goes
to Georgia, they're going to have that'll be a great ad for who's the quarterback next year, that guy that played in the bowl game. Stockton, yeah.
Woo,
look at you, yeah. That'll be a good ad for them.
Carson Beck was the only name coming in my head. I was like, no,
right.
It's not him.
Yeah, they got to play backup. They got to play backup.
Okay, so I say like
they got to play a backup quarterback, of course, again. And I was going to go to this real quick. Oh, I lost it. Yeah, we had mentioned running backs last year. I'm excited. For me, Xavier needs to be the starter. I think it's pretty clear who's your best runner. Tatum, because with him playing in baseball, I don't know how much that delays his development, especially in the weight room, where the biggest jump really from a true freshman year to your sophomore year is in the weight room, because you get a full offseason to work out, you get a full summer to work out, and you get the spring practice, where last year he comes in, he's playing baseball, he comes in late, he doesn't get that. And that's where a lot of fumbles came from Tatum. He just doesn't have the strength right now to play at the SEC level consistently, and a lot of that's just strength. And so for him to have a whole other year of just working out, period, and getting bigger and stronger is going to be huge. Now, I don't know how baseball eats into that time, how much it detracts from that time. But Tatum has the natural physical gifts. Assume like a guy like, and just like KRJ mentions here, Blaylock. Blaylock's part of the record-setting national 4x1 team. I mean, he's legit. He's legit home run highlight reel speed. He's probably going to be the fastest player on our team coming in next year, and he's going to be a true freshman. He's legitimately world-class level speed. So he's going to be a guy that can come in and again, though, it's hard not everyone's Adrian Peterson exception probably, but not everyone's physically ready as a true freshman to come in and get a heavy amount of snaps. So Xavier Robinson, though, played well, obviously. He had a good season.
But they mentioned how much he focused on building his body.
Right, and there was that report that he was even upset when he got promoted.
Promoted is a better word. I was going to say pulled from scout team, but promoted sounds way better. But yeah, he didn't want to.
Because he was happy with his development. He thought he was rushing it. And that's smart. Good head.
How mature,
good head on the
though?
shoulder.
To me, that's such a mature, response. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being like some freshmen can be, like I've heard it a million times from a lot of athletes. You think you're God's gift to the sport.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably the best player on your high school team, if not your district, if not even your state. And so then you come in and you're humbled real quick and you're told, you're actually like the fourth best guy. You need to get better. So to me, for him to be like, no, I'm not ready. I want to keep developing. That's a mature decision in my mind.
Let me go back. Am I crazy?
Yes.
Is this the guy that said that when he went to the Georgia trip, that it meant nothing? He was just going for fun, and then he decommitted like a couple days later and committed to Georgia?
Remember that?
Because I was walking in the law school. It was between lockers. And I remember walking, and I got a text saying that he went to the Georgia game and how, man, it has to be him. Has to be him. I think he was one. Yeah, he said that he was going to Oklahoma and that he went to the Georgia game, and it was nothing but just he wanted to see. Yeah, Steve Arello. Yeah. There we go. It was him. Yeah, I don't know. And that could, because the players, I remember I saw this and I was like, why were they mad? I remember him now saying that he went to that game just for fun with his mom and stuff, just for free tickets.
Because his mom was a Georgia fan.
Because his mom, look at you.
Wow, there you go. I did
Let's
it.
go.
I never remember that stuff. Talk about pulling the cobwebs
That's
off.
what I'm talking
Woo!
about. That was awesome. Look at us. Look at us, chat. Way to go. Little team here.
Team effort here at the Voice of College Football Oklahoma.
That's what we're about.
Yeah, for his mama. Woo!
There you go. To be honest, she said that before we saw the chat. I can attest. She did. Someone's going to say, well, yeah, Chad did it. That's why you said that.
Oh, that's fine.
But,
Somebody's always going to say something.
Yeah. No, they didn't, but yeah.
Dang it. I was going to say something, and then we kind of both interrupted each other.
Yeah, but that was worth it. Shared a moment there.
Ooh, I
There we
remember
go.
what it was. About wide receiver.
We can't lose right now. It's awesome. Wide
What?
receiver. No, I was just excited we remembered that, too.
I know. It's partly because while you were talking, I was like zoning out over here, being like wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. So I
You
wouldn't
have a
forget.
notepad. You can write it down.
That's cheating.
No, it's not. It's what we all do.
No, it's just I didn't think of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
But as far as like, I say that I would like another wide receiver. That's just for my own comfort. After losing, your top 6,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like 18 is not enough at this point. Like that's just kind of where I'm at. But
Yeah.
just to say though, we do have Dion coming back. You're hoping that Jaden Gibson can get on the field. Because again, I've said this stat before, 5 touchdowns of 14 catches in 2023. You just hope you can excel. Nearly every time you touch the ball, you're scoring a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hopefully you can excel on that. So there's 2. I liked what I saw from Ivan Carrion. I always want to say Yvonne. Because the one
last name, it sounds
yes,
regular, yeah.
and the one person I knew that their name's spelled like that, it was Yvonne.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm Hispanic, but it's not the point. So I like what I saw from him, like obviously a big body. And I like that I saw like blocking earlier in the game, and he made some catches. Now I know earlier in the season he had some drops, but again, comes with experience. I like some of the things I saw from Zion Kearney.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, then we saw a lot of drops from him. However, if you're dropping it, at least you're getting open. We had an issue with wide receivers not getting open. So, you know what? If you can get open, the next step's just to catch it. So, what steps? I'm just sunshine.
She's over here about
I'm
to
using this
cast a
pen
spell
as
with this pen. It poked me in the eyeball,
don't tip
too.
me. I know a lot of them from Harry Potter. I'm not actually a witch. Oh, man. So,
yeah, it was perfect.
so like, those 4 people that I would say that I'm, like, excited about, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Jacob Jordan, walk on to a freshman. I like what we all liked what we saw from him. We liked the competitive heart. So I'm excited to even see him potentially get a few more snaps, playing time. He seemed to be pretty reliable. Of course, we all compared him to Drake Stoops, but good to see where he goes as well. However, again, how many is that? Did I just say 5? We lost our type 5 last year, so it's not enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
But just pending catastrophe, I do like those 5.
Right.
Because we have 6'6". Jacob Jordan's what, 5'8"?
5'8",
If you're
5'9",
taller
I
than
think.
that, Jacob Jordan, so sorry.
There's-
Deion Burks, I think they have him listed at like 5'10", but there's just no way. I stood next to him at the ladies' clinic, like, holy cow, you're not that much taller than me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 5'3", but does not matter. And then Kearney's pretty tall. No,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's Reagan's who's short. When did Zion become such a popular name? By the way, but not the point. How tall is Kearney? Anybody know how tall Zion Kearney is?
I think he's pretty tall, too. I think
I
he's
was thinking like 6'4".
yeah, he's about 6'4", yeah. I want to. One guy I'm hoping, and I don't know if he has committed yet. If you're looking at another place besides tight end, maybe offensive line, you always need better offensive linemen.
6'1".
6'1". There you go.
There's a big jump from 6.
Well, I still like him. He's
But still,
pretty good.
over 6 foot.
One guy I'm hoping that they can get, and I don't think they will because he's just going to command too much money. Is that, and I cannot say this guy's name at all. Fa'alili Fa'amo from Washington State, right tackle, used to be a short king.
Kings.
There used to be there.
Sorry.
There's a lot of people that transferred from defensive line to offensive line at OU. Lane Johnson won. He went like quarterback, D end, tight end, and I think O line. And now he's been in the league forever. but they have good feet and they can move. And this guy was already a day 2 grade going into the year. So if you could somehow get him, I don't see anywhere that he is committed. I'm trying to find it now, but if I am, wait, never mind. He's going to Wake Forest 5 hours ago. No way. Literally 5 hours ago.
We're late.
All right. Well, anyways, he's at Wake Forest. So never mind. Good job for Wake Forest.
As Chad said, if there's some way, there's no way. So there we go. Disregard.
Wow. That's kind of sad.
Someone said Jamel Holloway took a trip to visit Hawaii because he wanted to go to Hawaii before his OU trip. Valid. If I was recruited by Hawaii, I would have gone as well.
We've talked about that. If I was a 5-star elite recruit, high 4-star guy, I would go to I would take officials to everywhere.
Anymore, is there?
I think it's 5.
I think they're getting rid of the limit.
I don't know. I don't know if they got rid of officials.
But no, for sure. And I know that when I'm sure both of us, when we were in high school, like, and being recruited, you were encouraged to take your trips, especially if it was to a place you've never been, see it as that way, as a trip, even if you don't necessarily want to go there. So it was encouraged. And we've talked about, should we ever have a child good enough to be recruited? So sorry for the 5'3" thing, future child, but hopefully the 6'4" genes take over. But not the point. Is that, we want to encourage them to take all their trips because, it's a free trip.
Yeah.
And also, you just never know until you know.
It's a good experience. I'd go to OU 100%, but yeah.
Now, if you want to go down to Austin, no. Just kidding.
Jamal Brown, number 55, one of the all-timers. Dude, he was so good. Right tackle.
I don't recall.
He was a beast. I have his picture on a poster. I think 2003, 2004, around there.
I was a small
at
child.
OU, I believe.
Recall
my
what?
cap's on. Jamal Brown, I believe it was like 2003ish, but it was.
Lloyd says our defensive ends and defensive line is going to be very scary this year.
2003, 2004.
We agree.
Golly, dude.
We're very excited about that. Our defense is going to be stacked again.
I believe he's from Oklahoma. Lawton.
We're like talking about two different things here.
Yeah, Jamal Brown, Lawton, Oklahoma.
Golly. Can you think in your head, please?
Get me on a game show.
You've just forgotten like 3 names here tonight.
Why you bring up old stuff? That's the problem. We need to see. We're about moving forward in our relationship.
Well, moving forward.
Kidding.
My issue with the defense is
Very
more
true.
so the leadership side. Who's going to step up to be the leader? Because there has to be somebody out there dictating who goes where, who does what, who gets them lined up. However, I think with Kendall Doby coming back, he's a good candidate for me for that. Which I've already said, Kip as well. But apparently Jared Kanek had the green dot.
Jaron?
Yeah. I said Jared. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oops. I think he had the green dot during the
bowl game.
The bowl game. However, that seems strange to me, and this is no offense to Jaron, but he didn't play that much to me at linebacker during the year.
Well, you can have more than one player. I think Colby McKenzie started the game with it on, and then whenever he would come out, Jaron would be the one that would go in with it.
Okay, they'd only mentioned Jaron, so that's where I was confused. Because I was like, that kind of seems strange to me. Like, to me, I would want the more experienced dude.
You just can only have one green dot or one helmet.
On the field.
Yeah, on the field at one time, yeah. And it's usually your linebacker because they make all the calls.
Right, because it's the quarterback of the defense, quote unquote.
But my defensive, I think the one position I guess I'd be worried, quote unquote, about is maybe corner, because if you could guarantee that Gentry Williams is healthy, then I think you have. I mean, you have the chance to have.
Whatever they put in Nussmeier, they need to put in him. In Gentry. Whatever was put into his shoulder, collarbone, whatever needs to go into Gentry's.
Because you could have a chance to have, a top 5 defensive line, off defensive front in the country with what they have. And then you would have Eli Bowen and Gentry at your corners. I mean, that's right there is just insane. And then the linebacking crew they have, and then you're going to have Peyton Bowen and RSJ back. Reggie Powers will probably play the cheetah. But you'll get a Boganowski back, a Hardy.
Jordan will be back.
Jacoby Jordan will be back.
No, Jacoby Johnson.
Jacoby Johnson.
Good night.
See, I followed you into that, and we just fell together.
Jacob Jordan was still in my head.
It's okay. We'll go.
A lot of JJs.
The ship goes down. It goes down together because that's what we believe in. I will always no. But
I'm going to be on the door, not him.
Yeah. I'm excited about a lot of what the defense has to offer. KRJ had mentioned earlier on one of the chats about the running backs. I don't think that's a crazy take. I understand where the hesitation is, on the belief in the room. I think you have a legit number one in Xavier Robinson. Where I think you might worry is maybe go look for maybe an experienced guy if you can in the portal that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg and you can make it work around the other needs that you have.
Right. And I even hate saying that.
Is that you're going to get a guy, you can go get an experienced guy who has maybe more reps under him, maybe has played in the SEC before, that can be someone who you can bring in if those other guys aren't performing well or aren't able to kind of handle whatever they're being required to handle at the running back position, which we saw a lot this year, maybe pass blocking or something of the sort. And with a guy like X, I think you have a legit person who reads the running lanes well. I think you're going to have an improved offensive line as well with Sexton and all them coming back hopefully healthy, a Taylor coming back healthy, and especially with those freshmen now being true sophomores getting a whole other year of development. I think they have a chance to have a really good running back room, assuming all of those guys pan out. But I understand 100% where there are people that are not unsure of that.
And it's hard to say experience because Barnes is pretty experienced, and I think he was starting to do very well. And I mean, and then he gets hurt.
But injury bug, yeah, like you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like, yes, he was doing well, and then I think we all see what Sawchuk is capable of. It's just waiting for it to happen. And again, he also had the injury bug too. So it's like those are two experienced running backs, but it's just, are they able to stay on the field? And did y'all hear Zena?
He's probably gonna do that a couple times. Again. See, the bay is real though. It's not a fake little thing we put at the end of it. He is not happy right now. That is hilarious.
One. Somebody must be outside. Can y'all hear him?
Hopefully so. Oh, he's not happy.
So if somebody's breaking into our house, we apologize, but it'll be on film. So there you go. There's the evidence. Cool. But I think it's just, we saw what X is capable of. Excited about that. We have seen what Barnes and Sawchuk are capable of. If they would just kind of take that next step, but we'll see. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the college football semis. We obviously have a couple games this week, Thursday and Friday, correct?
Yes.
We looked at it earlier. And
pending weather.
Yeah.
We've said pending a lot. So.
An unbelievable string of luck for the big evil university down south. Going to play a game that just doesn't have, the Ohio State fans that don't come early before Thursday are going to get snowed out from arriving for their trip. Then they're going to have to struggle to even get down to the stadium. You may have to go tell their dog to be a little more unloud. But, you're good. You don't have to go do it. He's probably done. But who do you have? What do you think of, first off, reaction, I guess, to a couple of the games this past week, and then, coming in, who do you have in the semis?
Reaction was, holy cow, Arizona State made a game out of it.
Yeah, shocking. I know brilliant minds that thought that would be a blowout. Now, I disagreed, but,
I don't even know how to respond to that in so many ways. Moving on.
I'm just saying, brilliant minds out there.
So, I they made a game out of it.
That'll be blowout.
Questionable calls, potentially, but 'tis the game. You just can't rely on things to be called or not called. Called or not called. Because we know there's a holding that led to a touchdown. There was the questionable targeting call. Which, granted, hey, I'm going to be equal here. Arizona State had the interception with the questionable targeting no call early, too. However, it still would have been an interception. Which would have been 15 yards past that point. My biggest issue more so is, maybe because I'm this type of fan that I expect everybody else should... I expect everyone else to be like me. But I don't understand fans that can't say, yes, it was this side or the other, but it doesn't matter now. We won the game. So, with the no-call holding where Ewers runs to the end zone for a touchdown, there's clearly a hold. I believe his number was 52. I don't understand why fans can't just even be like, yeah, it was a hold, got away with it, but it's the game. And it doesn't change anything. Because it doesn't change anything. And it just makes me respect people so much more in sports fans. If you're incapable of saying those types of things, you're just a child at that point. It sounds like a bratty child to me. And not saying, all people are like that. But, I know for sure we've been yeah, that was a pass interference we got away with there, or that was a holding we got away with, which seems like OU doesn't get away with any holdings. By the way, we have a great touchdown run by Michael Hawkins in our bowl game, called back for holding.
Golly.
Also, what was it? The block in the back that led to the Texas punt return that was not called. So it's like, and I'm sure, and again, Arizona State had a pulling of a jersey, wasn't called for a DPI. Things happen, and that's the game. I just hate when people were like, no, it wasn't this. And it's like, well, literally everyone in their, like, even all the announcers said it was. But it doesn't change the game. You just sound respectable as a fan.
It just
I'm going on a rant here. You asked me how the game was, but I mean, Texas sneaked away there. Got lucky. I don't want to say that.
There were other games. What do you think of the other ones?
I was pretty shocked, honestly. I say that. I was shocked, and I wasn't shocked by the Notre Dame-Georgia game. I said, I believe on this pod too, I'm just not sure how confident I am in a backup quarterback leading a team in the quarterfinals. However, I will eat my words on that because Stockton played well enough for his team to win. And it seemed like his team more or less let him down with all of the drops. He put some passes on the money at the numbers, and they dropped it. And many of which could have been touchdowns. So I think he played well enough to play. I just think Notre Dame came out more ready. But regardless, what did you think?
About the same. I don't have
that was a big point.
anything really to add on the Texas game. They won. Obviously, I didn't think it'd be that close. I'll be honest. I'm still not sold that Texas is going to be the way Ohio State's playing right now. I just don't know if Quinn's game really translates to having a big performance against Ohio State. They do everything well, and they're very fast and big. You see the scramble touchdown. He's probably going to get caught on that against Ohio State, even if the guy's held so bad it almost rips a hole in the space-time continuum. There is things that Quinn Ewers gets away with. I think he lacks a little arm strength, especially when he tries to make across the field throws. He has good touch, obviously, and Sark can scheme up good plays that allow him to throw the go route or the go ball into open parts of the field. But if you don't lose, what worries you about Texas is every time they played teams that have solid defensive front side of the ball, Georgia twice, Arizona State, they can't run the ball. 30-yard, around 35 yards each time they played Georgia, and then 53 yards rushing against.
Ewers gets skittish too.
Exactly. Ewers is good when it's clear, the picture's clear, and he knows exactly. He doesn't have to make too many. He has clear decisions he can make. Where he struggles, and I'm not saying it's unique to him. This is where the game gets difficult for any quarterback. Is whenever the play breaks down and he has to go off of script or off of second decision. He's indecisive. You saw it. I mean, I go back to the last year in the OU Texas. You saw him pump fake a slant route because it wasn't immediately open like he thought it would be. Because Gentry did a good job of rerouting and then coming up and taking the ball. When that happens, he struggles, and it's not even that he makes bad decisions when that happens. It's one thing to struggle and throw the ball away and not turn it over. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people got mad at Sark for that throw, the interception, all that. Mm-hmm. Guys, it's not illegal to not throw the ball if they're not open, even if the play's called there. Mm-hmm. You don't need to make that throw. There's no reason to risk it. They had a high safety. He was already going to be double covered. You don't make that throw.
I called that one.
And it was you did right before that happened.
I said, you know what? He hasn't thrown an interception this game. He's due for one.
And the interception was a great catch too. I don't want to take away. I mean, it was still a good play by Arizona. That safety. Mm-hmm. By the way, I believe it was the safety that was out the first half. That was out the first half for the targeting in the last game. But they're going to be able to play against. They're going to be playing a really good Ohio State team. Sark is a genius offensively, I believe. I say that when they play teams that really can compete with them, I don't. Their offense is weird to me.
Who?
It stalls out Texas.
Okay.
it stalls out so much.
It does, and Texas fans can admit that because I follow enough, unfortunately, but also fortunately because they're normally the cool ones that agree with that position. So, and you can just see it. They do stall.
Yeah, it's weird.
My worry, and I think we've talked about this, is the Ohio State that played Michigan going to show up? Mm-hmm. Or is it going to be the Ohio State that's played with their hair on fire? Mm-hmm. Because those are polar opposite teams.
I think I'd be more worried about that if it was if they were playing a Penn State or they were playing a Notre Dame even. But Texas being the national brand they are and how cocky and confident their players are. Colin Simmons sharing Instagram stories about how, Scattaboo isn't this, and then obviously Scattaboo goes off the second half, which was awesome.
How are you on your phone at halftime?
I'm telling you, it's not a good.
Again, we're former athletes. And if I had my phone out during a halftime, my coaches would have yelled at me into next week. I wouldn't have played this second half. Like,
that to me is it's just to not have, I
wild.
don't know, but it's a weird thing.
And then he deleted it.
Yeah.
And I believe, how do you delete it during the third quarter? Does he have his phone in his pants on the sideline?
I don't know.
What in tarnation?
But there was that game. Obviously, Notre Dame winning. I was surprised too at how well they ran the ball on Georgia. Georgia not being able to get a stop was insane.
Mm-hmm.
The receivers drops were huge for Georgia. It's just you can't drop past. They're drive killers.
What's funny is he actually showed me a video. It's like, I didn't see this drop.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that one was bad. It was. I don't even know.
It was one where they probably would have scored a touchdown.
Yeah, it was like a 50-yard
long
throw.
It was
and
awesome.
It was on the money, just dunk.
Yeah.
Off of his chest.
Right off
Got
of
like
his
my
chest.
onomatopoeia there.
What do you think? Penn State, Ohio State. My gosh, I mean, just they Walter Mondale to Oregon, beat them to death. I
was shocked by that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm shocked by that because of how close it was early in the year. But it also shows you what a difference early in the year is. And to me, almost the teams that got buys were almost at a disadvantage to me in a way.
They were.
Because you get out of a rhythm. You get out of that momentum. You could even get out of shape, game shape. Like, to take time off. If practice is not games. So, you're playing a team that's hot. They just beat the brakes off Tennessee. They're ready to get revenge on you. They just keep that momentum going versus you have to pick back up your momentum after winning and being off 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks.
That's just kind of wild to me. But I was shocked. And I was shocked because Notre Dame was undersized.
Mm-hmm.
And they were bullying Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely the whole, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, the size of the fight and the dog seemed like came out in that game.
Since Ohio State lost to Michigan, they're outscoring their opponent 73-17 in 5.5 quarters. That's insane. They have the makings to blow Texas out if they just will play like they've been playing. Because Texas, what they're really good at, it's what my criticism of what Sark has right now, and I'm not saying it's going to always be that way. They come off to me as bullies and front runners, where when they know they're better than a team, they're really good, they're flashy, they're the Golden State Warriors with Steph and Clay in their prime. They're doing all this cool stuff. But when they get punched in the mouth, like you saw against Georgia twice, you saw even against when Arizona State showed they weren't going to just fold. Mm-hmm. I think you saw Texas be like, oh no, like we got to really do something here. And if they don't have the punt return for a touchdown, who knows how that game ends, And for Ohio State, if there's one thing they're not going to be, it's intimidated. They're going to have better athletes. It's going to be the one team Texas has played since probably Georgia that's going to have equal to better athletes at every position than what you have. The quarterback issue, I don't know who. If I was going to rank quarterbacks right now, I'd probably go Howard right now with how he's playing. Maybe Ewers. I don't know. I don't really trust Leonard or Riley Leonard, I believe. I just want to say Davis, but that's a different guy. And then Drew Aller. Drew Aller's played pretty well, actually. Maybe I'd go Howard, Will Howard, Drew Aller, Ewers, and
Will Howard was throwing some absolute
dots.
dots.
Yeah, just crazy throws.
It's funny. I thought you were about to say dots, and then I usually say dimes, so we switched our words there. I feel like. Also, by the way, Will Howard. What a basic name.
Yeah. What?
I'm just saying. Like every time I hear them say Will Howard, I'm like, that sounds like a 75-year-old former investment banker's name. Probably made a lot of money, but it just kind of blows my mind with the.
All right, but who do you have Texas Ohio State, and who do you have for who's the other game? It's Penn State Oregon.
You know what's funny?
Or Notre Dame. Indeed.
I still kind of do dislike ever having to root for Ohio State, but man, they're holding revivals on their campus wearing Jesus One shirts. Makes me a little more cheerful to root for them. So I'm going to go Ohio State.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep it Notre Dame. Yeah,
that's what I had written. Ohio State, Notre Dame. I don't want Texas to win. I don't think they will. And I don't want, man, Penn State's good. Their defense is good. I just don't, an all Big Ten national championship would just be wild. And then the problem with Notre Dame making it is we keep saying they need to join a conference. Why? At some point we just made it to the national championship game.
But in the past, it has bitten Notre Dame because they've been much like us in the playoff, in the formal playoffs with the four best teams.
Yeah.
Where they get annihilated.
Right.
So, up until this year, I feel like it's been not so good for the Irish when it comes to the playoffs either.
Well, those are our picks. We now will go to the dog.
The dog.
Who you just heard screaming rudely, by the way, interrupting our show. But had a good week last week.
Yes, he went 4-1.
4-1. Got back to 17-16, positive on the year, and with a couple upsets, and he's really positive. If not for a couple upsets,
He's
I mean.
positive.
All right. The dancing at the end is wild.
I needed something. It was far too short of a video.
Yeah, only two games is tough. You're going to have to do something killer on the national championship week.
Ooh. I don't think he can dance that long.
Way to go, Zeno. Yeah, he's had a good year. He could finish 19-16. Wow.
We
Impressive.
hope.
Let's get to, so we both got our picks. I think Zeno and all of us picked Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Yeah, hopefully that's not a jinx.
Probably going to be Texas, Penn State.
Don't even
Golly.
say that out loud.
Talk about a nightmare.
I will say at
Talk
that
about a
point,
nightmare.
I will 100% admit to the Texas won a playoff game before OU.
Yeah, that talking point is the worst. How's it feel to win a playoff game? I don't know. If we got played, which Arizona State, I'm sorry, Texas still should have blown them out. If they'd have played like they should have. I hate saying
They
that too
didn't
because
get
that sounds
cocky
so
at
weak.
half.
Yeah,
and
it's
think
just
they
they
could
just
just not play the rest
they
of the
don't.
game?
There's something about having a killer instinct that I just don't know that Quinn Ewers even had. It sounds
Don't
like
jinx
you
him,
know,
please. Shut it down.
I mean, I don't know.
He's gonna
I
ball
feel like
out.
Lava could be running at him, and he would still have that little nonchalant, like, well, got to do something about this.
What's funny is
Just don't.
we see his
don't-
interviews and we're like, man, what a good kid.
Yeah.
Hate cheering against him. Hate cheering against.
Oh,
Like if he was
no.
at another school, I'd be like, good for him. Go off and have yourself a day, but not for Texas. Sorry.
Yeah, if I see Matthew McConaughey one more time, oh.
He's on the sideline. Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
I mean,
The
you're.
ball. I'm like, dude, you
you know.
probably have no athletic bones in your body. Could
No.
be wrong. Maybe Matthew McConaughey was an all-stater, but
You could ask-
I told Chad it reminds me of when Drake wore the Kentucky warm-up and
And then
went
airballed the
through-
shot.
went through warm-ups with
Just
him,
yeah,
and
terrible.
this dude just really was all in, thinking that he was on the team.
That's a weirdo one.
That's just what it reminded me of. What are we talking about? Oh, we're gonna go into.
Dude, this is a wild stat. Look at D-Rock Irish right here. 3,600 seconds in a college football game, and Notre Dame scored 17 of their 23 in 57 seconds.
Yep.
Wow. Under a minute. That's under a
Yeah,
minute.
I had tweeted that too. Wild, and it was a insane chain of events.
Notre Dame defensive turnovers have led to Irish's 140 plus points. That's crazy.
Wow.
Oklahoma turnovers led to a lot of teams scoring for, again by them.
Yep.
Like our offense scored a lot against us. But anyways, there were
Neither here nor there.
other sports.
Other sports that are
For
playing. So do
Oklahoma?
y'all want to talk men's basketball first or women's basketball?
I do women's.
Since there's a little bit of positive. So the women's basketball had some tough games. Unfortunately, dropped it to Texas. That may be my bad. I was on the JP and Trav show with the rest of the Sooner gang and following via my phone. I had to go watch the end of the third, into the fourth quarter because my anxiety would not allow me to continue to look at it through the phone. It seemed like once I started watching, they went ice cold with nothing but turnovers.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately cost them the game.
Yep.
In a hard-fought game like that, you just can't turn over the ball. Which brings us to Tennessee. They had 31 turnovers. 31.
It's almost hard to do on purpose.
31. Now, I will say Tennessee's very physical. They're going to press you the whole game. So they're looking for that. And I understand OU wants to play at a fast rate. That's what they want to do. They want to get the ball going in transition. They want to speed you up. However, there's a difference in being sped up and being out of control. And I don't care what the broadcasters were saying. They kept saying, oh, OU, even though Tennessee sped them up, they've seemed very in control. They did not seem to me in control. They were very chaotic. Mm-hmm. Now, they were able to pull out of that game. However, they had a 19-point lead at one point. 19-point lead. Mm-hmm. And they drop it. And you only win by 1. And they had a final shot that they could have won the game with. Because we just kept turning the ball over. And it's just frustrating because most of the turnovers were self-inflicted. It wasn't like they stole the ball and made really good plays. Not to say, again, I'm not dissing on Tennessee's defense, but just seeing some of the things that they were doing was so frustrating, or how they're just getting out of control. It just, take a breath. Like, don't let them speed you up. Calm down. But they're able to pull out a win there. Big one over Tennessee, which is great. The loss to Texas hurts, but maybe we'll get them. I think we get them again. You would think.
Yeah, well, we should.
In Austin. And so hopefully they could drop the turnovers, because I believe they had 26 turnovers against Texas, 31 against Tennessee, which 57 turnovers in 2 games. It's just not going to get it done. And I know Jenny B is a fantastic coach. She was out there in warm-ups going full speed with them. I know that's not good enough for her, and I know that's something that she's going to be addressing and working on. And, she's a better coach than I am. So I believe in Jenny B. I believe in the girls. They have all the talent in the world. It's just the turnovers have become a very, very bad issue.
And they have a player named Reagan Beers, which is relevant because on Wednesday, if you go to the game, it's $20 tickets and then $2 beverages, including beer. That's how a professional does a lead-in. Wow.
You can tell he watches a lot of podcasts.
Wow, that was solid. Yes, but sorry I interrupted you. But that's pretty cool. I mean, people might really want to. That's pretty sweet. $2 beverages, including beer. $20 to get in.
Which brings us to the men's game.
Which you would need a beer to rewatch.
Holy
a few
cow.
of them.
I didn't even finish it. And I always hate when I turn off an OU game because I feel like such a fake fan. But Chad is my witness. I was yelling at the screen. My heart rate was getting up way too much. Like, I sounded like a banshee. Like, it was bad. And if you're affecting me and my emotional maturity that much, we gotta go. And I just
Yeah, she wasn't happy. And I don't know, they really to lose like that was just, it reminded me of the Villanova game in the Final Four years ago, where it just seemed like everything that could go wrong our way went wrong, and they didn't shoot it as well as Villanova did in that game, but they just it seemed like they made everything at some point, and we couldn't make a shot, and it was weird, and you can do that in basketball. That same year we beat Villanova by 30 earlier in the Hawaii whatever tournament that was, and then last year we beat Alabama by 24 when they were number 2 in the country in Norman. So blowouts happen in basketball quickly too because of how voluminous shooting is, but can't be the best feeling out there in the world. And you would think they at least need to go 8-10 in conference to feel comfortable that they're going to get in.
We come from the Big 12, which is historically the basketball conference, and it seems like the SEC is stacked this year. So plenty of chances for redemption, playing a lot of ranked teams coming up. But with the Alabama game, like you mentioned, we were shooting 30% from the field and 12% from the three-point line, I believe, at half. Holy cannolis. You could almost close your eyes from the three-point line and do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Essentially 1 for 10. I think I could close my eyes and shoot.
Yeah, for sure. Back in your day?
Yeah, maybe not now. No, don't tell me on that now. You know what? Even now, maybe.
1 for 10, I'll do that.
Let me get a warm-up first. It was just not... Jeremiah Fears, poor kid, he had more fouls than he had points for the longest time. Although I think he ended up with 15 or 16 at the end of the game.
He pulled a Dak Prescott. He waited until they were getting blown out and losing, and then he stat padded, and now everyone thinks Dak's a good quarterback. He's not. Jeremiah Fears is a good basketball player. I'm sorry. I let my hatred for my quarterback for Dallas. He pulled a Dak Prescott last game. Jeremiah, we need you to be that good all the time, the whole game. Okay, make shots.
Heaven forbid you have a bad game.
Someone who sits in an office all day. Hey, he's a young kid. He's going to be a draft pick next year. I'm just toughening him up. And I know he's listening. 100% he's listening to the show. Big fan of you. Keep balling out. But we got to be making plays early in the game.
Right. And I feel for him because I think he was 0 for 8 at one point. Like that, I mean, I've had bad games too. Like,
Gotta shoot though. Shoot or shoot.
Shoot or shoot. And I think like I definitely at one point it got in his head because I believe he missed a shot, which he did get fouled on, which was not called. Turns around and essentially just gets in his head, fouls a guy. Not a good foul. Like, and he had to go to the bench because I believe he had like 2 fouls pretty quickly. And so it's just that's just something that happens with young players. You're just gonna get in your head like that.
Right.
But it was so not fun to watch. It seemed like Alabama was hitting everything early. I didn't watch the end of the game because I just physically couldn't to keep from vomiting, and that was mean. And we couldn't make anything. Like we couldn't hit the ocean from a boat. Like it was so bad. And then we were not getting any foul calls, which tends to happen sometimes when
we couldn't hit the iceberg on the Titanic.
Yeah, no.
That's how much we were missing.
Like we couldn't get any foul calls. So a lot of times when you aren't shooting well, your coaches tell you get to the line. Like find a way to get to the line so you can see the ball go through, build some confidence. Couldn't even get to the line because we couldn't get fouls called for us. And then we couldn't get a flipping rebound. I would like to know how many points Alabama had on second and third opportunities. Block out, which I know doesn't happen a lot in men's basketball because they all think they can just out-athlete each other. Block out. I don't care. Get the rebound.
Need glue guys. Guys that go in and just going to do fundamental stuff.
Like, it was so frustrating because, like, I'd be like, yes! Oh! Because they'd miss a shot.
Do
so you're...
right in the mic.
Sorry. I'm still not used to the mics.
You're good.
But I'm getting loud, too. I'm getting like you do when you get excited. I'd be like, yes, okay, they missed. And then I'd just turn around and be right back angry because they'd get the rebound. Then I might be even happy that they missed again and they'd get another rebound. And it just seems like if they didn't make it the first time, they almost always made it the second and third. Like,
right.
It's like it's almost like they ended every possession with a make, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Whether it came on the first shot or the third shot. It just, and you can't win a game that way. If you're in a deficit the way they're in a deficit, that just can't happen. When you have to take advantage of their misses. And they just weren't doing it. And it just was ugly, ugly, ugly basketball.
It was. What's not ugly basketball is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Don't jinx them.
Which is 15 in a row they've won?
Depends on who you ask. But
I really don't know.
By the NBA, yes. By the NBA, how they're counting it.
Because the NBA Cup's not counted, right?
Yes, unless you win it and once you hang a banner. So, like, I understand the rationale for saying they haven't actually won 15 in a row. In that case, it's 10 in a row.
Well, can we say 15 in a row?
We can say 15 in a row.
Well, yeah,
as
we'll
Thunder
say it.
fans.
It's called marketing. 15 in a row.
But if you're a non-Thunder fan, then 10. But either way, bite us.
15 regular season games in a row. Because the NBA Cup's a tournament. Doesn't technically count as regular season.
Potentially.
I'm going to go 15
We're starting to sound like that Georgia.
That
Georgia
stat, right. 15 regular season wins in a row.
Yeah, so I understand.
But there are records. I remember the Heat when LeBron and D Wade and all them were there. They won like 26 or 27
records of all time.
Huh?
There's like the strangest records that people. There's so many times I'm listening to a sports game event and they'll say some type of like thing, and I'm like, who keeps track of that?
Remember when Klay Thompson had like 62 and 3/4 on like 11 dribbles?
Yeah.
He was the first person to have 60 on 11 dribbles in history.
Like who?
Find me the guy. You know, they make these stats up because no one's going to fact check that.
My thing is like, yeah, no, exactly. Like obviously you can count him and be like, okay, yeah, that's how many dribbles he took. But how do you? Did you just watch every game? Do they count dribbles every game? I don't want that job. Whoever has that job.
Dribble counter.
The dribble counter.
He made someone mad in the front office. So you're counting dribbles today, Jim, whoever you are.
Whomever you are.
Joy. Never mind. Sorry.
You're throwing out J's.
Someone will get that in the chat. Never mind. Oh, that's terrible.
I don't get it.
Joy Taylor stuff. The news that broke. Fox News. Apparently, if you want to move, or Fox News, Fox Sports. Well, maybe Fox News. If you want to move up in their rankings, there's ways you can. This is totally derailed. I don't know how that town ties into Oklahoma football.
Shut it down.
But yeah, there was a lot that went on. A lot that is going to be done this next week.
Right. I believe the men play again Wednesday against A&M. The women play again Thursday. But let me fact check myself. Fact check.
Fear the deer.
The women play again on Thursday against Mississippi State. The men play again on Wednesday versus A&M, and it's at home.
Yeah.
So for
what are you saying? $20? $20
go to the game,
tickets.
there you go. $20 tickets, $2 beverages, including adult beverages that taste disgusting.
Which, if they play
to
like
each
they
their
did
own.
last game, you're going to need a few of those. So, you're
And
gonna
then
save some
women's
money.
gymnastics, which my brother and I may be attending, is at the Paycom Center. And so, yeah, you can go out and support them. They will be competing against Cal, LSU, and Utah. LSU and Utah are known for being pretty good at gymnastics, so it should be a pretty good meet overall.
You had mentioned the freshmen did pretty well the other day. The freshman gymnast, 9.9s,
Yeah,
a couple 9.9s.
reload. Yes, that was Lily Peterson and her mom.
So hi Lily, hi her mom. Thank you for watching, and we're big, we're fans.
Yeah, she definitely came out strong as a freshman. Man, Oklahoma women's sports, especially gymnastics, just reloads.
They do.
And hoping for another fun year watching them, even though they about give me a heart attack. I can't watch the beam without. I find myself not breathing as if I'm out there competing. And I didn't do gymnastics very long as a child, because I decided I wanted to do competitive cheer. Sorry, Mom. My mom wanted me to do gymnastics, and I saw the competitive cheerleaders during gymnastics one day and decided that being thrown in the air looked like a lot of fun. So I did that instead for a little bit. Not the point. But even then, as a child, man, the beam, woo,
nuts.
that sucker is hard.
There was a lot of debate. I tweeted out a question Saturday, and then we'll wind up here shortly. But it was about what movie we should watch. We're gonna go to the movies. We ended up watching the Reagan movie on Amazon. It was really good, actually. It was really interesting. It doesn't really, it doesn't really go into politics, so lean left or right. I think it's a good movie just on the historical aspect and just kind of things that went on during that with the Soviet Union and stuff, and it's pretty interesting.
Without ruining the movie, because I looked at Chad and go, wow, this is a really cool perspective that the movie was from. It's told from a Russian
point of view,
essentially. So it's kind of cool that he's the hero of the story, but essentially their antagonist. But he's obviously portrayed as a hero from the American side. But it was very interesting. And I bawled like a baby during the ending credits.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
cried
they do a good job.
Hard.
Dennis Quaid's the actor. Great
Love
actor.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, I have a lot of good actors
The
in
man
the
can
movie.
do no wrong. He's done no wrong my whole life.
You Rock Irish. Thank you, man. We appreciate this. Good luck to your team this weekend. Or actually, no, not on Thursday.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can be saying that about our team next year. But
hopefully
good luck to y'all.
Where's that game being played?
I could not tell you. I didn't look at the stadium. I should know. It's not the Cotton Bowl. It's the.
And it's not because it's not in Atlanta because that's the final.
Stuff we should have looked up
Orange
beforehand. Oh, Florida.
I was so Florida. So they should be good. No snow and ice there.
Yeah. Y'all are gonna be.
No, but it's in Dallas. Does Dallas get snow and ice that often
What are you
for
talking
the
about?
Texas game?
Yeah, they might get 12 inches of snow.
In Dallas? Sorry.
You gotta stop. Yeah, they're further south than we are. They get snow all the time. You don't remember all those people that were killed on the bridge a couple of years ago during the ice storm?
But
they get it worse or as bad every time we do.
Yes. I'm just saying it seems like any time it actually snows and ice is in Dallas, it's because it's a big story because it.
Well, early call. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be good.
It's not as common as it is. It's the same where our parents are from back home. It might be snowing like crazy up here, but nothing happening down there.
Yeah, Oklahoma is.
Oh yeah.
Oklahoma's going to get snow for sure. There's a. Oh God, I was going to show. Is
it a film in Russian? No, the Reagan film is not in Russian.
No, my Russian's not sharp enough yet to really be watching full films. I like shorts.
I know 3 words in Russian from one of my best friends from Russia.
Yeah. And I know less than that, so it's just not good enough yet for me to really watch full films. But
I guess I could have FaceTimed her and been like, translate.
It's a good movie. It's pretty interesting.
Very American movie. It's just.
Yeah. There's and what you really, you just worry about really just serious injuries with weather and stuff. So hopefully if you're going to be down there, if you're in Dallas or if you know anyone going to the game, tell them to be safe. Gear up for being shut in maybe
Honestly,
for a day or
for all of
two.
us here in Oklahoma, be safe.
Yeah, and
Go
for everyone
buy
in
some
Oklahoma.
water bottles.
Yeah.
Don't buy all the toilet paper and water bottles. Leave some for your friends. What else is there? Any non-perishables? Be smart, but
yeah, be alert.
It's not the apocalypse, so leave some for your friends.
Yeah, don't go out and buy everything.
So everybody be safe though.
Yep. Well, we appreciate y'all watching. It means 80% Thursday. Okay. It means a lot that y'all take time out of your night and evening to watch or listen if you are. We appreciate it. And, hopefully you can make it back. Again, we do this, if you're new, every Monday at 7 Central. And we stream after games as well. And so during the regular season and bowl season, hopefully during the playoffs next year, we'll be streaming some during the game.
Right, and there's potential for in the future that we add a call-in show.
Yeah, we're going to
There's
learn how to do
potential.
call-in shows. So hopefully some of y'all commenting will be able to call and talk to us directly. That's going to be a IT dream for me. So I'm excited for that. But no, it's really been fun. We really enjoy it and really appreciate all of y'all tuning in. So any last thing?
No, I just really appreciate it. Make sure you like the video.
Yes,
We
yeah.
always forget to say that.
Like the video.
Please like the video. Subscribe to our channel. Take the next 0.5 seconds to like it. Don't dislike it. Don't be mean. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
Don't
ahead
show
and
us.
like it. Just to help us out a little bit there. But we really do appreciate all of you coming in and joining us and joining the chat. Especially, it's fun to read your comments. It's fun to build this little community here at the Voice of College Football Oklahoma, where there is no off season. So we will be here all off season and all spring, summer, and back in the fall. So we will see you guys next Monday at 7 o'clock.
Yep. See y'all.
Bye, Boomer.